Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur. Apologize, we don't have the screen with the Gemara, which I usually like to have, but it's not working for technical reasons. So please open your Gemaras to Makkos Daf Gimel Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page. That's where we are. Gimel Amud Aleph, bottom of the page, because today's page is Gimel Amud Beis, the Shiur Le'ilu Nishmas of Imoyer Menachem Ben Akiva, Us Bas Shalom, Saul Bas Moshe, Aviva Bas Moshe, Le'refu'as. Nina Chaya Bas Geula Rochel, Esther Fuma Bas Shoshana Malka, להצלחת ירד ben Rochel Lea. Rochel Lea, Rochel, ירד ben Rochel Lea. To be Matzliach and, fight the war. Says the Gemara, we saw a Mishnah yesterday. The Mishnah was describing a situation in which a person lent money to his friend for 10 years, right? 10 years, as far as I know, would include at some point within 10 years, you're going to have the shemita year. And we know that shemita, the oraisa, maybe nowadays in the Rabbanon, these things apply. The shemitas ksofim applies that in the 7th year, the end of the 7th year, all debts are annulled, okay, are automatically nullified, poof, out the window. That's what happens to debts. Now, let's see what the Gemara has to say regarding that. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda said on behalf of Shmuel, Amal ve'es chaveroi le'eser shonim, a person who lends his friend a loan for 10 years, shvi'is meshamatitoi. The shmita is meshamet. The shmita applies. Yeah, the shmita applies, which means that at the 7th year, the shmita already annulled the choiv. Now, 3 years later, in the 10th year, what's going to happen? The malva will come and the loiva will tell him, sorry, we have been through shmita, right? Shmita came before the time to collect the debt, and therefore the shmita applies. The shmita is meshametes. The shmita works. Okay? Now, sorry. Excuse me. 1 second, please. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Weiter. Okay, the Seder. So now says the Gemara, although right now at the time of Shemitah, there is no lo yigois, which means the Torah says a person is not allowed to be noiges to collect the choiv, the debt of his friend in Shemitah, lo yigois, even though there is no lo yigois at the time of the choiv, meaning at the time when you're supposed to, the other way around, at the time of Shemitah, you're not supposed to do what? Collect the debt. Why? You're only allowed to collect the debt when the time comes, when it's due date, right? When it's the end of the debt, the end of the time, the due date. That's when you're supposed to collect it. The 7th year obviously came before the 10th year, before the collection time. So the two are not together. Shemitah time and the collection time are not together. So what does the one have to do the other? Answers the Gemara, no. Although that's true, but since at the end of the day, in 3 years' time from now, in the 10th year, yigois would happen. That would be a moment of collection of yigois. Therefore, already now in Shemitah, the Shemitah is mevatel, annuls any debt that's about to be collected. I'm reading Rashi, the 4th line in Rashi. Rashi says, Hachim ishtoma beko, the last wide line in Rashi. Lo yigois bizmanoi esre'ehu, the pasuk says, let's read the pasuk inside. Anybody that has noishe, that has a debt to collect from his friend, what should you do? He should be shomit his yadoi, leave him, remove your hands from him, leave him alone. And it says, Lo yigos esrei ves ochiv, ki korosh mito la Hashem. Don't be noiges, don't collect from your brother, from your friend harshly. The Gis says strong collection. Kikol Shmita la Hashem, because Shmita was pulled to Hashem. Meaning, says Rashi, before that there was already Shmita. Any debt that was preceded by Shmita, right? Shmita came between the time of loan and the time of return. Already then the Shmita killed preempting and took the rug, from under the feet of the collection that would come later. That's what Rav Yehuda said, B'Shem Shmuel. This is the way we learn it the first time, the first Lishna. Mesiv Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana is now challenging that from the Mishnah, which we just saw now. Rav Kahana is claiming, Rav Kahana, by the way, was the same generation. It was the Talmud of Rav. Yeah, just like Rav Yehuda was the Talmud of Rav. Mesiv Rav Kahana. It says in the Mishnah, what happens if Eidim Zomimim said about someone that he owes money to his friend now to be collected in a month, in a very short time? Well, in reality, they were lying, and really how much is he supposed to pay? When is he supposed to pay him? In 10 years' time, right? So how do you gauge that? How do you assess that? There is a debt. They're not complete liars. It's not black and white. So why do we say that the Eidim Zomimim, how much do they have to pay? We have to gauge, we have to assess the difference in money between paying now and paying in 10 years' time. Remember how we said it according to the tour? How much would you pay to have that long breath, to have how much you pay your lender, if it's not ribis, it's another shaila, to give you more time, between a month and 10 years, right? That amount of money they have to pay. And now regarding shmita, regarding what we said, something does make sense. What did we say? Oimdim, we have to assess how much would the person want to give? You elef zuz beyadoy, to have the 1,000, to stay with the 1,000 zuz loan. You have the difference between keeping the 1,000 zuz only for 1 month or keeping them for 10 years' time. You can invest a lot of money. You can build a whole chain of hotels. It's a huge difference. And that's what the Eidim Zomimim have to pay because they lied regarding the time span. Now, one point we have to take from that Mishnah, which is a challenge for Rav Yehuda. What is the challenge by Rav Kahana? Challenge is, if you're telling me that the shmita is annulling a choiv which is supposed to be collected after shmita, if so, they have to pay him the entire debt. Why? Because the guy would tell them, excuse me, the borrower would tell them, you guys made me pay 100 zuz, 1,000 zuz, I would pay 0. Why? Because shmita is on its way. I'm not stupid. I decided to give the shmita to take a loan for 10 years. So I have shmita in the middle. Shmita will burst the bubble of the choiv, nothing. And therefore I would owe him one big 0.0000. And he makes me pay 1,000 zuz, right? And that's not what the Mishnah said. Must be you were wrong, says Rav Kahana. You have to remember the names here, by the way. It's one of these Gemars with the names will appear later. Yeah, Rav Kahana is challenging Rav Yehuda. Omer Rove comes to the rescue of Rav Yehuda and says no. I can make you a very, very easy ukimta to make the Mishnah and Rav Yehuda good friends. Yeah, we can manage with the Mishnah. What is the story of the Mishnah? When could it be true that conceptually, yes, Shemitah applies before the time of the collection, and yet there is a choiv that will be collected nevertheless? We all know about the P word, Pikodon and Pruzbul. B'malve ala mashkoin, answer number 1, malve ala mashkoin. At the time of the loan, the malve told the loive, Mister, you think I'm just giving you 10,000 shekels or 10,000 pounds? It's much more. And you think that just the shtar is enough about pay? Dream on. You have this nice bicycle over there, fancy bicycle, 10,000 shekels, very fancy bicycle. And that's what I want as a mashkon. That's a collateral. And says Rav Yitzchok, yeah, in few places in Chas, yeah, Lamed Zayin Gittin, pay base in Dov Metzia. What does he say? It says in the Torah, Lechoti etzdoko. You remember the drosha, yeah? The Torah says if you give back a collateral, it's a tzedoko. Tzedoko? I'm giving him what belongs to him. So it's tzedoko. Once I have the collateral in my hand, it's for certain aspects, it's like mine. It's kilo the choiv was collected. After 10 years' time, we'll swap your bicycle for my money. It's part of the agreement. But the etzim, it's already govui ve'oimed. It's already collected. And therefore, in such a case, Shemitah would not be Meshamet, regardless of whether it's 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. Shemitah is not Meshamet. Shemitah is Meshamet when you owe me money. I'm up in the air. I'm without my money. You have my money. Now you're supposed to give back to me. You say, Shemitah came, da, da, da. If I have your bicycle, if I have your computer, if I have your stuff by me, and I'm going to switch it for the money, no. Then Shemitah's Ktofim does not apply. because it's already been nigve, it's been collected right from the start. The other guy or the other milve, which shmita does not affect, is what? Moiser shtoros of lebezdin. Moiser shtoros of lebezdin is the father of Prusbul. I said the cousin, it's a father, which means Moiser shtoros of lebezdin is the origin of Prusbul. That's what a lot of Rishonim say. No, it's not. Rashi says it's Prusbul. All the Rishonim are angry with Rashi. No. Yeah, very nice. Yitzchak Avshi Shlomi the Goyen, very nice. Basically, Rashi says most of Torah of Lebezin is Prusbul, and the Ritva and Tosis and some other Rishonim are very upset with Rashi. They say it's not true. Prusbul and Moisosh Torah are two things. Let me explain. Moisosh Torah of Lebezin means I have a shtar, real life, hard copy shtar, because I'm the Gmach guy. I'm the rich guy. I'm the Malve. I lend money to everybody, right? Okay. I have a shtar from Reuven, a shtar from Shimon, a shtar from Levi, a shtar from Prince Abela, Rochel Bela. Right? I have all kinds of stores. Now Shemitah is coming. It's coming. I'm going to lose all my money. I go to Beis Din and I don't write Prusbul. The original idea of Prusbul was before Hillel invented Prusbul. The idea was I'm giving my shtar to Beis Din, and I said to Beis Din, that's a loch in the cup for me. You take that shtar and you collect the debt from Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, and eventually, please, if you don't mind, give it back to me. Well, Lamaisa, you are the collectors. I said yesterday a reason why there's no problem with Shemitah. How can Beis Din collect? Are Beis Din not religious? Well, they are religious, very religious, but they can collect the debt for two reasons. First of all, because mitzidi, that's already goivu ve'oimed. In other words, as I told you yesterday, Beis Din are the hands of the law. Yeah, Beis Din, if I am supposed to collect the debt from someone to do yigois versus the shamit, that is, I have to start collecting a debt. The debt is by him. The money is his. No? And I have to start collecting from him. Good luck to me. Either it'll be nice tomorrow, the day after, take it to Beis Din. It's all collection process. And then I'm not allowed to do well once I hit Shemitah. And according to the first opinion, even if Shemitah came before the time of the return. If it's in the hands of Beis Din are Beis Din. Not like today. Beis Din originally were very, very strong. Yeah, look at all the Gemaras. I remember one in Bavakam Kufi Beis Din with Beis. What happens when Beis Din when you don't pay on time and it's in Beis Din hands? They go into your land. They take away your land, right? You, the one own the borrower. That's the hands of the law. It's like a police jail today, and therefore it's called already collected. Once they gave it to Beis Din, it's already collected. It's already go vivoimed. Reason number two, Shlomo, is what I saw in some Rishonim and I saw today in the Shulchan Aruch in the Noise Kelim, that it's not your loan, it's theirs. In other words, I'm not allowed to collect my debt from you. I lent you money, I can't collect it from you. I can give it to Beis Din as a third party. Lefi that I could even give it to another person. That's enough kamina. I can ask the Beis Din of Peretz and Zoach and Peretz and Yehuda and say, you guys will collect from Yitzchak. I can collect because that's too direct, too close for comfort. I can collect my debt. I can collect someone else's debt. That's the second reason. So what's Prusbul? Prusbul was just a development on top of that, right? Ever saw a new fancy car? It's just a development of the previous car, right? Okay, lahavdil. So too, Hillel wanted to develop and automatize and modernize the idea of Moiser Shtaroisov, and Hillel saw that people don't always have the shtar. Sometimes people don't collect with shtar. They make a halva balpeh, oral balpeh, without any shtar. What are these people going to do, right? So Hillel wanted to facilitate it for the rich people, for the Malvim. Prusbuli ubuti. It's good for the rich people and the poor people. And the rich person, the Malvi, can come to Beis Din and say to Beis Din and write a shtar, all my debts are in the hands of Beis Din. I don't have to start finding this shtar in the attic and the other shtar is in my little son's backpack. I don't have to look for the stars. It's clear in the Milva Balpeh, there is no shtar. All my debts, Stav, Alpeh, here, there, in America, in Africa, wherever, all my stars, all the chaves are in the holy hands of Beis Din. Fine, boom, that's it. I don't have any headaches anymore. And then Beis Din are the ones collecting. And by the way, he says something very, one of the Rishonim, which I've seen a few, Baruch Hashem, there is no chash when you do Prusbul, people will think that the whole concept of Shemitah's Ksofim will be forgotten. The Shem said the other way around. When there is Prusbul, everybody knows about Shemitah's Ksofim because Prusbul is Avshad Milsa. You saw in Shul, right? Every Shul has a rov with two Avrechim or a Beis Din, and they sit, and everyone goes, stands in a long line, in a long queue to write the Prusbul. So people know about Shemitah's Ksofim. Yeah, there's no, as opposed to, let's say, salting meat. People today don't know about salting meat because nobody does it at home, right? So nishtakach Torah. But here there's no chash of nishtakach Torah salvo. One second, let me just see the Mishnah. I'll hear a question soon. The Tanan. It says in the Mishnah at the end of Shvis, Hamal ve'alamashkon v'moiso shtos of lebezdin, either pikodon or fruzbul or the like, ein mashmitin. So now, so this Adkan Hakofa Aleph, that's what we saw yesterday. Up until now was just a revision of yesterday. It's always good to have revision. Yeah, question time. Yeah, I'm listening. You okay? Continue. Now let's continue to the second Ika de Amri. Up until now was the first version of Rav Yehuda Omar Shmuel. Ika de Amri. Some say there's another version of how to explain Rav Yehuda Omar Shmuel. Omar Yehuda Omar Shmuel. Hamal ve'eschaver le'esor shonim. A person who lent money to his friends for 10 years. Ein shvis meshamatosoi. The shvis does not annul the debt. No, no, no. If shmita came before the time of collection, they don't coincide, they don't collide, they're not together at the same time, then the shmita is not mishamet. Even though eventually lo yigois will apply, lo yigois is going to happen, right? Hashtamia lo karinan bay lo yigois. Although eventually there will be time of collection, right now the shvis there's no time of collection, right? Shvis is not supposed is before the collection time. And when collection time will come, it won't be shvis. They never met down the down the street. Shmita and time of collection are not happening together, right? And this is the version, the second girsa of the same opinion of Yehuda Shmuel. Omar Kana, according to this version, the Mishnah is not a foe but a friend. The Mishnah is good with Rav Yehuda. Amar Kana, Fanan Namitinina. We too also learned in the Mishnah. Rav Kana is saying, great, look, you have a proof from the Mishnah. Oim din kama odom roitze liten diu elef zuz beyodoi beniten mikan vat shloshim yom beniten mikan vat esel shonim. The Mishnah said that if Edim Zomimim lied about the time of death and they said that the collection time is in a month, well, in reality it was 10 years. They wanted to bring the debt much, 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 much closer. And what did we say? They have to pay the difference between 30 days and 10 years, as we explained. Oh, you see, there's a good proof now for the current opinion of Rav Yehuda Shmuel. Now Rav Khan is beginning to talk about the Mishnah. If you say that Shvis is Meshametes, it stops the Choiv even before the 10 years come. Before 10 years come, the Shemitah came before. They should have paid him everything, the entire debt, because the debt really is completely, boom, goes down the drain in the Shemitah before the 10 years, right? And we don't say that. The Kitzur, our Mishnah shows one thing, that really the debt can endure, can outlive, can survive, yeah, the Shemitah. So you see exactly like Rav Yehuda Shmuel in the current version, that the Shemitah does not stop the Choiv. Now Rove is coming to spoil the party, Kivyochel for who? For Rav Yehuda. He says, no, Rove says it could be a nice idea, but it's not muchach. The Mishnah is not proven to be like Rav Yehuda. Why? We could say no. Maybe Enechanami Rav Yehuda is wrong, and Enechanami Shmita is Meshamet. You know, over here in the Mishnah, although Shmita is Meshamet, here it's not, because of what we said before, Malva Lamashkoin, or Moisosh Toisov, the Tana Malva Lamashkoin, Moisosh Toisov, Bezin and Shmitin. Basically playing with exactly the same factors, but switch it around. There the Mishnah was against Rav Yehuda, here the Mishnah is pro Rav Yehuda, and then Rav is reserved, and Rav says, no, it's not Muchach, the Mishnah is like Rav Yehuda. Yeah, the Mishnah in Echanami is telling me that there is collection. It's not necessarily true because there's always collection. It's because maybe there was Pikadon, maybe because there was Moisosh Tavaisov, Huzbul, that's why, not Muchach. And of course, now the question is, Ma aloche. We basically have a machlokes between the same person and himself. Depends on the depends on the girsa. The Gemara has two versions, but what the same person said. Some machlokes, some aroim. Some machlokes the Balei HaGemara. The author of the Gemara himself is not sure which is the right version of Rav Yehuda Omar Shmuel. Do we say that Shemitah is yes Mishamet, or do we say Shemitah ain't Mishamet? And that's a big machlokes Rishonim. Now let's see Tosfos. Hikadamri, Toisvis and most Rishonim and Shulchan Aruch, they follow the Toisvis. Look at the Toisvis. Omer Rabbeinu Tam, top at a page. Omer Rabbeinu Tam, the halacha Lishna Basra. Halacha is like the Lishna Basra. Why? Meaning Lishna Basra, the Shmita is not Mishamet. Yeah? The Shmita is not Mishamet, and really the debt will stay alive and kicking till the 10th year, until the time of collection. Why? The halacha Lishna Basra. Why? But first of all, let's stop right there. I did it on purpose. Halacha Lishna Basra, there's some Rishonim, the Ramban, and the Rif Oran. I've seen a few Rishonim that say that usually halacha is a Lishna Basra. Unless known otherwise, when you have Lishna Kama, Lishna Basra, you have two versions in the Gemara, first Loshan and second. Usually the halacha is like the second one. That's the kavanah of the Gemara to set to, last but not least. Akron Chaviv, the final word is Lishna Basra. So that's, first of all, that's what some Rishonim hold for sure. For sure, I know that. Now, it's brought down here also in the Meforshim and the Rosh Hashanah. But Tosfos says another reason why he supports the second Lishna. Oh, because at the end of the day, the Mishnah reads much more smoothly, right? According to the second Lashon. It's true, Rob had a reservation. Maybe we're talking about Prusbul, maybe about the Kodon. But the Pasuk Pshat of the Mishnah is telling me, unless you start garnishing the Mishnah, the Pshat of the Mishnah, simple Pshat, meat and potatoes, is what the Mishnah is telling me, that the Shemitah was not Mishamet. Very good. Loi Mishamet. And that's what Shulchan Aruch says. Shulchan Aruch says, not Mishamet. Okay? So if you lent your friend a choy for 10, 15, 20 years, or even for 4 years, but the second year of those 4 was Shemitah. Any choy that goes over, the bridge goes over Shemitah, the Shemitah, we say, is not Mishamet, and you can collect it. Continues Tosfos, Ba'azhoroi Sigir Rabbeinu Tam, Zman Eser Ki Yalvenu, V'lo B'mishpat B'chatzi Yom V'yazvenu. There's Azhoros is a piyut you say on Shavuos. And on Shavuos we say Zman Eser Ki Yalvenu. You lend someone money for 10 years. V'loi b'mishpat b'chatzi yom v'yazvenu. So v'loi b'mishpat b'chatzi yom v'yazvenu. Chatzi yom v'yazvenu. It's based on a pasuk in Tanakh that the debt will leave you in the middle of your life, which means in the middle of the story the debt would leave you. Rabbeinu Tam says no, loi b'mishpat. He added that word loi in the siddur. He says no, the debt would not leave you in the middle of the loan time, and the debt would stay there. And although Shemitah was there, at the end of the 10 years, you'll be able to collect. Weiter. Second case, the second case in our Gemara today, completely different case, has to do with Shemitah, and also it's the same protagonist of the story. It's Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, and it's v'chule, the other opinions, v'chule. Rav Yehuda again quoting Shmuel says as follows. That's a very, very nogela alocha. Someone tells his friend, Al menas sheloti shamteini shvis. Oh, I'm giving you a loan, I'm making a condition. Shvis would not be mishamet for this loan. I don't want to follow the halacha here that tells me the Shemitah is mishamet. You want the loan? You need to pay for bread and milk for your children. You want an investment? You need to pay for your mortgage? Okay. I am lending you for 10 years on condition that the Shemitah will not annul the choiv. I'm making such a condition. So what do we say? Shvis meshametes. I wish it was that simple, but the Gemara says Shvis meshametes, meaning, no, wrong. You cannot make a condition against the Torah, the Heilige Torah, and therefore the Shemitah would apply. The loan is a loan, and the Shemitah would, against your will, Mr. Malve, the Shemitah would apply, and the choiv will be annulled. Okay, why? Well, we're going to see why now. Lema, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because you're going against the Torah. Lema kasava Shmuel. It sounds like, according to your Rav Yehuda, that Shmuel believes in the concept of masna mashakosa b'Torah. He's making a t'nai on what it says in the Torah. He's making a condition that's not in line with the halacha. And what's the story over there? There's a famous rule, machlokes tanaim, but basically the rule is in Kiddushin Daf Yutes, Ktubas Daf Nun Vav. It says whoever makes a condition against the Torah, the Maisa is the Maisa, and the T'nai is Botel. The T'nai does not exist. Let me give you the very, very classical example. Taught in Kiddushin, we taught in many places. What did we say? What happens if a person, a young Hassan, stands out of the huppah and he tells the Aret Mukudeshes Li, Al Menas Shen Lechalai Sher Ksus Ve'oino. Yeah, Mukudeshes Li, on condition that I don't have to provide you with anything. Sher Ksus Ve'oino. I don't have to give you money. I don't have to give you clothes, and I don't have to give you intimacy. Yeah. I want to be married. I'm making condition. Don't give me that sad face, that doggy look afterwards. I'm telling you now. You don't want me? No. I'm a great guy, $1 million guy, very choshev guy. You want to marry me? Great, marry me with condition I don't have to fulfill sheksus voino. So there is a machloikes tanoim, yeah, Meir no Yehuda, about whether with money it applies. Maybe for money she can be moichel, but oina lekulam she cannot be moichel. Yeah, oina, which is her need for intimacy. This is something which is going against the Torah, right? And therefore, even though he made the condition is bottle. The marriage is marriage, and he owes there the mitzvahs oina, and that is lekula alma to the best of my memory. Okay, so we see the tnai is bottle. So lechoira, the same thing applies over here. You're trying to make it tnai, and you think you're Mr. Smarty Pants. You're going against the Torah. So no, that doesn't work. The loan will be a loan, and the shemita shall surely be mechayev. Okay, nice. Correct the Gemara, not nice. That itma, not true. If you look over there in the Gemara above Metzia, the Gemara differentiates between oina or even money of a chasana, of financial security. The Gemara differentiates between, I'm not going to go now to how it does, but Gemara has very smart differentiations over there. The Gemara says, no. The story of the chasana is a different story to business between people. The itma, it says over there, a person is telling his friend, and this is a sugin above Metzia, al manas shen lechalai oino. Let's refresh above Metzia memories. What's oino, anybody? Oino of money means what? Lovely. Overcharging. A person tells his friend, listen, I'm selling you this new gold watch, and I'm making a condition before we do the deal, before we finish the deal, before we strike the deal. I'm making a condition, you don't have the rights to come back to me with oino. Meaning, I sell you a watch that's worth 10,000, and I charged you 15,000. That's more than a six, right? And then you're going to walk down. I don't know if there is or there isn't oino. According to one explanation, I'm not such a big mavin, or maybe I am, and I'm not telling you. Whatever. This is a no regret deal, no guarantee. I'm selling you the watch, and even if afterwards you're going to go down the street to your Israeli relatives and to all the other savvy people and all the machers, and then tell you, 10 to 15,000 freier. This goes for 10,000. You foolish guy, you silly. Why did you pay 15? Normally, of course, any other customer, lefi halacha, can come back, scream, or not, better not scream, at the seller and say, give me back the whole thing. It's more than a shtus, more than a six. I'm making condition. I'm not telling you that there is or isn't or not. By the way, I'm not following Rashi, I'm following down the Rishonim. I'm not telling whether I'm overcharging, undercharging. I'm not telling you. I'm telling you, I have no koich for this. I'm selling you this on condition that it doesn't apply. And even if you walk down the street later and maybe people will tell you that you overpaid, I'm telling you, shop closed. You'll come back to me, I'll give you a big smile, and that will be it. Making condition. You don't want it, don't buy from me. Don't give me that look. You don't want, don't buy from me, buy from someone else. You want to buy from me? You're definitely looking for that gold watch, a new model from Italy, from France. Good. So that's the way I'm dealing. No. So now we said Rav Omer yesh lo lavino. Rav says no, oino does apply. Although you make a condition, you're selling me something without oino, yesh oino. Wow. Rav believes, like we said regarding the chasana, yesh lo lavino, that even though b'dover shebemamoin tnoi potel, in other words, the oino applies, and the customer may go back to him and scream at him and say, "Why did you charge 15?" Well, really, it's 10. That's Rav. Now, Rav is not the main star of the show here. The question is Shmuel. The Shmuel Omer ein lo alav oino. Listen to this. Rav Yehuda, you quoted Shmuel. You quoted Shmuel about business deals, right? About shemita, and you told me that Shmuel says that when it comes to shemita, then you cannot make conditions against the Torah. But look, in the case of the guy selling the gold watch and overpricing, I'm reading again, Shmuel Omer ein lo alav oino, meaning the original condition made by the seller applies. Yes,
meaning I can, from some reason, go against the Torah. It's a question why. By the way, it's Machlokes Tanoim. Anyhow, we saw Omeir and Rabbi compare, you don't compare. But Lamaisa, we see the stira within Shmuel. Leave everybody else alone. Shmuel himself contradicts himself. Over here, he says, although it's just a monetary thing between two adults, we're saying what? You're telling me it comes to shemita, then we say the shemita applies, and the tonight there's no condition. Don't go against the Torah. When it comes to Oino, from some odd reason, Shmuel says, no, listen, I made a condition. We're both adults. We both agreed that we don't go with the laws of the Torah when it comes to money, and the condition applies. And therefore, Mr. Customer, the irate customer, cannot come back to me and say overcharged. So it's a steer in Shmuel. It's a steer within Shmuel. In both cases are scaringly similar. In both cases, we're talking about dinei mominus, and we're talking about two people who made an oral agreement by Tnai before the loan, in that case, before the sale. And why, for heaven's sake, why over here it works, and in the first case it doesn't work, and by Oino it does work. Answers the Gemara, and this is a huge yesod, b'chol HaTorah kula, what we're about to say, b'chol inyonei choshen mishpat. Answers the Gemara, ha'itmar Allah. We learned an explanation about this case, about the case of Oino. Omar Ravanan says, Ledidi b'farsha leminei Shmuel. I myself got a personal explanation from Shmuel. I'll listen to the very, very fine differences, fine-tuned differences, the nuances of the verbiage, of the speech, of the way they say it, of the expressions. Al menat shen lecha alai oino, en lo elav oino. Al menat shen lecha alai oino. If the seller says you don't have oino on me, oino exists in the world. I am asking you to personally kind of do me a favor. Don't use your rights of oino. You don't have an oino on me. Then oino doesn't apply. V'shein ken almanas shen boy oino haryesh boy oino. If he says I'm selling you that gold watch on condition that there is no oino, then of course there is oino. Yeah, let me explain. No, maybe. Yeah, the transaction. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Nice. Very nice. No, good. Very nice. Again, a person cannot say that it's okay to eat chazir because it's simply wrong. It's not okay. It's also right. A person cannot say, in this business deal we're going to do, there is no oino. The laws of oino don't apply. It's like, reform people. This doesn't apply to me. Marrying a shiksa is a bad thing. Doesn't apply. What do you mean doesn't apply? Of course it applies to you. Even though Chosh and Mishpat, as we said about 5 million times in this year, Chosh and Mishpat Chosh and Mishpat laws are much, much more flexible, right? Depends on people's norms and wishes, right? And it's all about just default, what the Torah says. Nevertheless, you can't declare there is no Eino in the Mecher. Of course, the law of Eino conceptually applies. What you can say is, you, Mr. Customer, you have the right in your hand to demand Eino, and I'm asking you, don't use that right over me. Yeah? I'm telling you personally, although you have the right to demand Oino, I'm asking you in advance, don't use the card that the Torah gave you to demand the money back. Don't use it. This is not about whether there is objectively Oino. It's called in English? Subjectively, I'm asking you, between you and me, that we as two individuals, who the Torah told us that we can, if we want, apply Oino, let's not apply it. Yeah. How many settings are in my air condition? 10. I'm only using 2 or 3. I can use all 7. I chose not to. Don't have koach for it. You have the button called Oino. Don't press that button. That, of course, a person can say, according to Shmuel. But to say this deal has no Oino, bichlad, that you cannot say. Of course there is Oino. Yeah, Rashi says it's not yours to decide. By the way, what I'm saying, same and therefore, hachinami. Let's continue to Shmita. Al menas shelo tishmeteni bashvis and shvis meshamatoi. Let's say it says, al menas shelo tishmeteni bashvis. I'm making a condition that you are not be beshamet me in shvis. I'm asking you, you have the right to annul the debt in shvis and shvis meshamatoi. Then the shvis is really not meshamet. You have the right to say, I'm asking that the laws of Shvis would not apply to us. If you're saying, oh, I don't want Shvis to Bechlal apply here, that there is no Shvis, Shvis does not exist Bechlal in this loan from the root, from the beginning, from the source, that's Shtuyot. Of course, Shvis is not yours to decide. There is no Shvis here. You can say, I'm making a condition that there is no Shvis. Are you not? Of course there is Shvis. You can say, although there is Shvis, you should not use your card to get away from the choiv. Look at the end of Tosfos. The end of the last Tosfos. The middle of the Tosfos, the Kach Pirush Rashbam. From the word Rashbam, we're in the last Tosfos now. Line starts with the word Rashbam. Listen how nicely Tosfos says it. Much better than me. Almanashen boy oino mashma shlo yachul isur lav delo toinu al mekach. If you say Almanas she'en bo'ino, like you said, Shlomo, very nicely, you can say there is no lav of oino in this transaction. What do you mean? You're not Jewish? He's not Jewish? There's no transaction? That's an automatic thing. Of course, there's a concept of oino. You can't say something so silly or kfiradik, there is no oino. That's shtuyot. About Almanas she'en lecho alai oino, when I don't talk about the deal, about the objective situation, I talk about you and me as people. What do we do with the existing Isser Oino? Do we use it or don't we use it? Do we apply it or don't we? I have a machine in my house with 10 buttons. Do I press all of them? No, I chose not to press half of them. Oh, answers priceless. Don't be tovether elatim choyli. Rashbam says something even stronger, more than some other Rishonim. It's like Mechila. You have the right to really demand and come screaming to my shop. Why did you charge 15 and not 10? I'm asking in advance to be Meichel. Of course, to be Meichel money. If I stole $10 million from you and you decide, okay, poor guy, can be Meichel, he can be Meichel the loss. No, Kayam. And it's nice, good. Of course, we can decide whether to use or not use the tools that the Torah gave us. Achinami are also here by Shemita. If you say, I'm asking you that there will be no Shemita, then you cannot do that. Of course there is Shemita. You can say, I'm asking you not to use your right. I'm leaving myself reservation with your permission that I will not, we will not use that tool, that item called Mechilas Choy B'Shmita, Shmitas Ksofim, and I will ask you to give me the money. And I saw the Shulchan Aruch even, I think, says if a guy gave him a matana, you can see it as matana. There could be all kinds of nefkaminas. Yeah, give me a gift. I'm lending you now $10,000, and I know Shemitah will come in the middle, making condition that those $10,000 you'll give me back to me, and it's not like a regular choiv, it's like loydora from a matana. I'm not sure if Shulchan Aruch or somebody else that I saw. That's the big difference. Why am I so excited? Because again, we see many times that Chosh and Mishpat is a flexible thing depends on the haskama of people. A question? Yes? Good question. Yeah. Let's finish Amud. Another one. Tana. Third line. Amal v'eschavero is stam. The Brisa says the person who lent his friend money, what's stam? Without specifying a date of return, a due date. Yeah, a time of return, of collection, of finishing off the debt. There was no time limit. There was no specification of time when I want my money back. I'm lending you money with a star, could be even v'chule star. Balpeh, we're going to discuss it. When is the time of return? Open-ended. So, you're not allowed. You, Mr. Malve, lender, cannot come and harass him and ask him for money back before 30 days are over. Okay. In other words, here we're learning for the first time the source of the famous halacha, stam milve shloshim yom. A milve, unless known otherwise, a regular open-ended milve, unless known otherwise, or says the Shulchan Aruch, which I taught today, unless there's a mina gamokoin. Let's say let's you live in a town where all the bankers and the gmachim and the avrechim and the balbatim, everybody knows in our town, in Yachkapichka, whatever, Dakota, we know that halva is 47 and a half days. That's accepted, 47 and a half. Unless known otherwise, halacha says the default number is what? 30 days. 30 days is the normal time limit. Okay, that's what the Brisa says. Rabba Bar Bar Chana kamei de Rav lemema. Rabba Bar Bar Chana wanted to say in front of Rav, Hani milu b'shtar. That makes sense only in alvo with the shtar. Why? The loy oved inish de torach, the cost of shtar, a person would not normally be torach to write a shtar. Shtar is the big tircha, the real shtar in the olden days, where it's supposed to be stoifrim, with the olzach, with the parchment, it's all big business. I wouldn't start the tircha of writing a shtar, such a headache. But still, what's botzil? Less than, botzil's less than mitlosin yoimin, less than 30 days to start the whole balagan, and you're going to come to me in 3 days' time. For that, I'm not going to write the whole shtar. So mistome, at least I want the security of having the money for 30 days, and for that, I was willing to be torech and write the shtar. Who writes the shtar? The loive, right? Aval mil valpe, but if it's only alpe, it's valpe, only verbal choiv without anything written, quick and easy, much quicker, much easier. Loi, I would say maybe not. Maybe there a person takes a quick loan for 1 day. Give me some 200-300 shekels for 1 day. Come on, I need it for the Rav Kav. And then it's not 30 days. Maybe it's even for 1 or 2 days. Because there's no big tircha, big story. It's a quick, easy come, easy go. Quick loan for short time. Yeah, maybe. Maybe then we don't apply the 30 days rule. So Rav comes and says, no. This is what my beloved say. Who's the beloved of Rav? His uncle Rav Chia. Rabbi Chia was the uncle of Rav. He made sure that Rebbe gives him smicha. Rabbi Chia always took care. Yeah, at the beginning of Sanhedrin. Yeah, before Rav went to Babel. Yeah, Rav was the Talmud and beloved nephew of his uncle Rabbi Chia. And he says, Rabbi Chia, the master of all brises, Rabbi Chia, echad amal ve'bishtar, echad amal ve'al peh, either shtar or al peh does make a difference. Any loan should be in your hands for 30 days. Why? Why 30 days and not before? So the Ritva says, and I saw it in the Shulchan Aruch with Noise Kelim, the Sma, they say Poshut because the milveh is not something you're supposed to return the money itself. You're supposed to spend the money. Milveh lo tzor nitna, as we saw in Kiddushin twice, right? Milveh lo tzor nitna, and then the milveh lo tzor nitna, I'm supposed to get the money back from somewhere. Where? The salary, take another loan, promotion at work, somebody else, I'm supposed to, I don't know, find something in the street. I'm supposed to come up with the money. Give me at least 30 days because I'm supposed to come up with new money. You see what I'm hinting to? Soon we'll get it. Tani nami achi, a price to support what Rav Chia said. Person lent money to his friend without specifying a date of return. He's not allowed to collect from him. I told you yesterday, you're not allowed to collect and approach the person. Don't come to him after Shachris, no, hinting, funny. No. Leave him alone for 30 days. But here comes a punchline. Even malve alpe, even milve alpe also should not be collected before 30 days. What did I tell you? What's the idea? Because it takes time to basically get back the money, to collect, to garner the money back. Takes 30 days at least, unless known otherwise. What happens if I lent you my drill? I lent you my drill, and after 3 hours, I knock on your door and ask for the drill back. Yes, I need my drill back. Am I allowed to do that? Huge issue in Rishonim, but most Rishonim say yes, and the Shulchan Aruch says yes. In other words, if it's not halva but a hash'ala, I'm lending you an object, not food, obviously. I'm lending you an object. I lent you my drill. I lent you my pen. I lent you my ruler. I lent you something. So then what? I'm not supposed to. I'm allowed to demand it back ASAP, unless, says, I don't know who says what, it's somewhere in the Shulchan Aruch. Let's say it's a drill, and I know you need to build a sukkah with a drill. Then I can't demand it back after 5 minutes. Even the most dexterous people takes them more than 5 minutes to build a sukkah, right? Okay, so it depends on context. Conceptually, I can take it definitely before 30 days. Let's say I suppose to build a sukkah today or tomorrow. It's 2 days before sukkah, let's say. I can come knock on your door 2 days later, ask for the drill. 30 days? No, my friend. 30 days applies to money, which you obviously don't have in your pocket. That's why you borrow the money. And you need to get new money. To get new money is not so easy, right? You have to get another loan, transfer, do things, that, work harder, I don't know, extra job. I don't know what. It takes time. But to give me back my drill, why is it taking you so long? Mapitom. You finished the work. Come give it back to me. And that's even less than 30 days. Weiter. Omar le Shmuel le Rav Matna. On the same line, on the same direction, the same wavelength, continues Shmuel in his addressing of Matna. Loi teisi v'karech. Yeah, Shmuel is demanding of Rav Matna, don't sit on your feet, which either means don't sit comfortably, don't sit down, like they used to. I saw in the Ritva, don't sit on a chair. The chairs have, legs, the leg of the chair. Don't sit on anything comfortable like a chair or a sofa. In other words, I want you to react right now. Don't sit comfortably. Answer right now. What's the big SOS thing you have to answer? Ad mefarshas lo lahashmaitza, until you explain to me the following sugya. Mina hamilsa, what is the source for what we just said? Rabbanon said, we just said 30 days, you're not allowed to touch by a pitchfork. You can't demand of your borrower to give back the money earlier than 30 days. Whether mil v'shtar or alpeh. Well, we said a nice reason. Why? Because it takes time as opposed to a pikoden. But why 30 days? Why did Chazal decide 30 days? Maybe 60 days, maybe 10 days. Why 30 days? Omerli. Here's the answer. Here's the asmachta of Chazal. It says regarding Shmitas Ksofim. We're back to Shmitas Ksofim. Kol b'shnas hasheva, shnas hashmita. It says in the Torah something that sounds to me quite verbose. It says quite, redundant. Don't say, don't. I'm reading the passage. Don't have that bli'al, that vicious thought enter your heart. And now we're quoting that thought. The Shnat Sheva, the 7th year, which is the Shemitah year, is approaching. Yeah, and your eye will be bad. Yeah, you will be miserly. All of a sudden, you'll act miserly, not lend money. Don't say that. One thing is verbose. Do you know that Shemitah year is the 7th year? Chiddush. Did you know that? You didn't know that. Nobody knew that. What a Chiddush. The Shemitah year is the 7th year. Wow. Yeah. The question is, the Torah itself says already 10 other places that Shemitah is the 7th year. So why does the Torah have to tell me when the Torah is, so to speak, quoting verbatim, kilu, the thought of the person? Don't say in your heart, oh, it's the 7th year, which is the Shemitah year. I know 7th year is the Shemitah year, right? These are 2 extra words in the Torah. That's 2 extra words too much. Elamai, Ela. So what's the Torah telling me by telling me Shnat Shemitah? Ela Talmud loymar Shnas HaShemitah. What's the Chiddush of the 7th year, the Shemitah year? Lomer Lechot, to tell you a tremendous Chiddush. Yes, Shemitah Acheres Sheikazoi. Wow. There's another Shemitah, something else equivalent to Shemitah, which is not the well-known Shemitah every 7 years, every 7th year. What is it? The Ezazu, what is it? A Malbes Chavero is Stam, a regular person a person who lends his friend money without specifying a date of collection. There is a 30-day Shemitah, which means if I lent my friend money at any time of year, any time of day, any time of the month, any time of my life, there is a Shemitah. What does Shemitah really mean? What's lishmot? To let go. Lishmot, yeah, to let go, to leave, to lex. What? Release, thank you. To release. The debt is released for 30 days. What does that have to do with a year? I thought that's 1 month. Ooh. There is a chiddush. 30 days within a year are considered a year. Regarding what? Regarding, for example, the 3 years of the tree, the Ola. Yes. A tree that stands 30 days really has to be plus 2 weeks for agricultural reasons. Let's say there's a year. We all know that for the first 3 years of the tree, right, it's also to have hana or chila, right? Let's say I planted the tree half a year before Shoshana. Is that called a year or not? It's like you send your child to Gan or to school. You never know which year it belongs to, right? To the borderline people. So is that tree 2.5 years old is good enough? Yes, not only half a year, even a month. Let's say I planted the tree on Tu B'Av. Yes, Tu B'Av. 2 weeks to have the proper planting to take roots. once the tree is properly in the ground, if 30 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul till Tishrei is 30 days, those 30 days are called a year. For his development, for his, to check the boxes, 1, 2, 3, that's a year. Aha! Go to over here. When the Torah tells me Shnas Shmit Neshas Sheva, double, 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 it's hinting to me, telling me there's another time in your life, another scenario in which you're not allowed to take money back from your borrower. When is that? During your own little year. Hence, 30 days, not 15 days and not 45 days. Why? Because 30 days are called a year. Therefore, there's a year-long shmita, which is the month of the loan. Mikan, we know the famous rule that stam mil v'shloishim yoim. Those of you who do a daf yomi, anybody courageous? They had it recently. You do? Oh, wow. Then in daf hey, there's a shlakish versus bain rove. Also there, the Tosfos mentions stam mil v'shloishim yoim. I don't do the daf. I'm not free for that. Yeah. A king even one day. A king there's a no. King one day. No. It's a good question. Why? A year. I accept. In the kings, I'm impressed with the memory. First of all, a king, the Gemara Daf Beis Amud Beis says that even one day. Rosh Hashanah. It's the same. Dati, it's about a tree. I don't remember why the difference, but by the king, it's even one day. Yeah, Yom B'Shana Choshev Shana for a king. So if he went up on the throne right before Nisan, it's already a year for him. Because he could make decrees. No, that's even could be. That's could be. Here, and let's continue quickly for one more issue. We'll continue to that tomorrow. We're going to Shabbos now. You may ask, what's the connection between the upcoming sugya and the previous one? The only connection, as I told you, is the names. It's the same people, Rav Yehuda Marav and Rav Kana and Rava. Other than that, there's no connection. Rav Yehuda Marav. A person who opens the neck opening. There are two explanations. I'm starting that. No, he has a fabric. He has a beged. No. He has a beged with sleeves and everything, but the slit where the person's neck is supposed to go through, the headpiece, the neck piece is. I'm starting with Rashi. According to Rashi, it's mamish a fabric, completely closed, completely all there, completely intact, and you're opening a slit in the middle of the fabric where your head will go through. Imagine a poncho, a shawl, something like that. Yeah, you open that slit and boom, now you can wear it. And you did it on the holy day of the Sabbath. Bad boy. What happens then? Chayev chatos. Why you chayev chatos? Let's leave alone the question of Korea because it's not on the slitful. The issue here, according to all Rishonim that I saw, is an issue of makeh bepatish. What's makeh bepatish? Final blow, finish the job. In other words, the item was almost all there, but not usable because you can't, wear something if you can't have your head going through. And therefore, when you did that, boom, then you open and now you can wear it. You're chai because of makeh bepatish. Very nice. Maskif Rav Kana. Rav Kana has a challenge here. Rav Kana attacks Rav Yehuda and says, "V'chima ben zel megufas chovis." What's the difference between this and the megufa of the chovis? Megufas chovis, basically, there are two stories of megufas chovis. Question number one. The megufa is the lid of the barrel. You have a barrel, yeah? You have a lid that's on top of it, but that lid was very well connected, not connected, was sealed with like cement or tar from all around, yeah? It's, in other words, you have to break it, like letters of lawyers, right, of the notary, right? You have this thing that if anybody, a seal, that's what I'm saying. It's sealed with that, like a muddy kind of thing. And when you open that on Shabbos, that's allowed. You have guests on Shabbos, you want to open a big barrel of wine, you're allowed to take that and open the barrel, even though you're breaking the seal. What's the difference? Why over here you say makeh bepatish and here you don't? What's the difference? Omar Lei, Rav Yehuda answers right away. That is called real connection, and that's not. The tzavar is a real mamish a chibur, and this is not a chibur. Okay, why not? What's the difference? So now the difference are two differences. First of all, difference number one, clearly. Here, I'm starting something that was never there. I have one fabric, and I cut open a slit. It wasn't two things that were connected. It's one item. It's one item that I open a slit in. That's the first. Mashenkin there, I had a lid and I had a chovis, one on top of the other. that had a forced marriage, kiddush, like that, and I open it, even though now I'm breaking something, but lamaisa, it's only opening the lid from the thing, and therefore that's not as severe, and we don't consider that to be the real chibur like the beged. That is how Rashi explains. However, the Rishonim are very upset with Rashi because they say it's not even a havamina. If you, Rashi, are telling me here we're talking about a slit and this is two items, every child knows that this is true. And another question asked the Ritva and the Ritva here and many Rishonim. They ask also, it's what you're saying, Rashi, is also not true, anyways, because the Gemara there in Shabbos in Chovis says even if I have one chovis, one piece chovis, I can take a knife, a sword, it says, and basically behead the top of the chovis itself in order, or the cod, in order to serve the fruit that's inside. No, what are you going to say then? There, it's not two items; it's one item, and it's still okay. So one other explanation says the Meiri. Here the chibur is good, and there it's so. First of all, the Tosfos. Let's leave it up. First of all, some Rishonim Ritva Tosfos, not Tosfos over here. They say no. We're not talking over here about a beged that's completely intact and you make the first slit. We're talking about a beged that was open, and the uman, the craftsman, tied it, and he really sewn it very well. He stitched it very strongly. That's a question. Just like over here, I have two items. I have the chovis and the lid. Here too, I have the fabric, which the slit was open, and the uman, from some reason, restitched it, like the pockets of the jacket. He stitched it well. Maisa uman stitched it hard, and then we say you're not allowed to open it. Why aren't you allowed to open it? Why over there are two items? Yeah, they were divorced and remarried, and I can cut them, and over here I can't. Answer the Rishonim. Says the Meiri, over here you just have a little bit of mud. It's not so choshu by the chovis. Here the tefira, the stitching is much stronger and professional, and therefore to open it is considered mamish, a whole new opening. Even though it was open in the past and reclosed, yeah, it's still called maki b'patish, especially if it's done in the house of the uman. That's what the Mishnah Berurah says. Maki b'patish is not what people think the final blow. Even though it was finished by the house of the uman, by the craftsman, by the factory, and he stitched it, and that's the way it's supposed to leave the factory, and now you open it for the first time after the craftsman closed it, that's called maki b'patish also. The shenken by the chovis, the whole chibur is much more clumsy, says the Meiri, and therefore when you cut it open, it's garnished. Excuse me. What happens when you open the chovis itself? How come you're allowed to open the one piece chovis? That's not two pieces. Answers the Meiri, and that's the reason why we open the bamba begs on Shabbos, because we do it b'derech kilkul. When you boom slash the head of the chovis, right, to have the pears inside, you're not making a petach yofe, as it's called in halacha. You're not opening it nicely. You break the chovis, you'll throw it in the garbage. And what's inside? Yummy food for Shabbos. Because of two reasons. It's kilkul. It's not done professionally, but in a way of destruction. Secondly, it's needed for the food of Shabbos. Hence, we're allowed to open the bamba bags on Shabbos. But Shenken here with the stitching, no. You're opening professional stitches, and it's done nicely. The end result, beautiful beged. And then my head is going through. Going up to my head. And in that case, it's called professionally nice, and it's an Isur Chatzit on Shabbos. Not halacha shiur, ask the rabbi, but this is the concept that we have to follow. Thank you and atzlocha, and I hope the Zoom will start working properly soon. It'll be the Chuzur B'Tshuva. Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow, Mr. Hashem Davdalit. Tomorrow we're going to learn a lot about mikvahs. Remember, mikvah is tomorrow. What happens when wine spills into mikvah? Bam, bam, bam. Atzlocha, brocha. Drink it, okay, the mikvah. You don't mean the Friday afternoon mikvah of the men. You don't drink that water. Have a great day. Thank you to everybody on Torah Anytime and in YouTube. Thank you for your patience in spite of all the technical problems from the Sitra Achra. May Hashem bring us the Mashiach soon. Thank you.